I didn't recognize the man standing in my kitchen until he waved at me. I came home from work last night, around 7 p.m. The apartment was dark, except for the light above the stove. First thing I noticed was a smell, garlic and onions frying in oil, which was weird since I lived alone and hadn't cooked in days. Then I saw him, standing at the stove, back to me, stirring a pan, looking as if he belonged there. For several seconds, I just stared. He was about my height, same hair, wore the same navy jacket that hung on the back of the chair. Then he turned around. He had my face, not similar, exactly. He offered me a polite smile. "You're early," he said. My keys clattered from my hand onto the floor. We stood and stared at each other across the tiny kitchen. "Who are you?" I managed. He looked puzzled, like I had asked a stupid question. "I live here," he said. I snatched up a glass from the counter, the first thing I could reach, and hurled it at him. It hit the cabinet behind and shattered. He didn't flinch. "Hey," he said, calm as everything. "You're going to hurt someone." He turned off the stove and walked to the table. I stumbled back into the hallway without thinking. "Look," he said, hands up. "You're confused. It's all right." His voice was my voice, exactly the way I sound. "I'm calling the police," I stammered. "You already have," he replied. My phone was on the kitchen table. I checked it and found a record of an outgoing emergency call at 6:42 p.m. when I was still at work. "They've been," he said softly. "What?" He nodded toward the living room. My legs somehow carried me forward. I peered around the doorway. 2 uniformed officers sat on my couch. They were perfectly still, but they were breathing, slowly. Their eyes were open, staring through the far wall. "What did you do?" I whispered. "I didn't do anything," he said. "This part just takes a little while." "A while for what?" He pulled out a chair from the table and sat down. "For one of us to remain." I saw on the table the dinner was laid out for only one. "I don't understand," I said. "I know," he replied. "I didn't either." The sentence hung in the air. "Either?" I asked. He nodded. "Last week, I came home, and someone else was already here." My throat closed up. "He looked like me," he continued. "Like you do now." One of the officers shifted on the couch, looking towards the kitchen. "He told you to be calm?" I asked. "Yes." "And the police came?" "Yes." A cold shock was spreading through my chest. "What happened to him?" I asked. He gestured toward the hallway. There was a shape on the floor that I hadn't noticed before. A body, tucked against the bedroom door, curled, wearing my work clothes, my shoes, my face. The skin was grey and taut, like it had been dead for days. "That was me," he said. One of the officers rubbed his face, looking tired. "You killed him?" I said. "No," he replied. "You did." My ears rang. "I didn't." "You don't remember yet," he said. but you will." He stood and began to wash out the pan, as if it were any other night. "It's always like this," he continued. "The new one shows up, someone panics." My legs felt like jelly. "The old one attacks first," he said. "They always do." The body by the hallway twitched. Just a finger. I stumbled back. "They don't die straight away," he murmured. "One of us just becomes less." One officer turned towards me, reaching out, his eyes clear and alert now. I tried to bolt through the door, but my legs wouldn't coordinate properly. "I remember this bit," he said behind me. "It's the worst." I could still feel everything. I just couldn't move anything properly. "You'll figure it out soon," he said. "You'll believe you always lived here." And he was right. I remember standing where he stood, looking at me. My eyes strayed to the body. It was breathing again. Its eyes were open and staring at me with terror and confusion. It spoke in my voice. I didn't recognize the man standing in my kitchen until he waved at me.